Hello young people of West Torrens, welcome back to D&D Creativity. My name is Stuart. Today we're going to start making some characters. Now, to help us do that, I've devised something called a random table, okay? And it's designed around the basic rules of D&D, which are free on D&D Beyond, because this is all about doing stuff we can do for free. Below, in the comments, you'll see a link. That link will take you to the tables that I created. Download a copy of that. It's a PDF, so if you don't have a PDF reader, it might just open up in Chrome, okay? And we're going to use that to help us create our characters. All right, so you've downloaded that? Excellent. Let's go over there and check it out. One more thing. In D&D, we use dice. All different types of dice. I'll see if I can show you in the camera. There we go. There's some of them there. All right, excellent, excellent. Now, if you don't have a set of D&D dice, that's fine. I'm going to show you a little website that you can use to roll dice on there. You don't have to use dice for this part of what we're doing, but it is a bit of fun. All right, let's get started. Alrighty, so when you open up the document, you'll get something like this. Okay, it is a 2-page document. And this is designed to help us create a character in D&D Beyond. Okay, so these first 3 tables, okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, they're the things that we have to use in order to create a character in D&D Beyond. These smaller ones here, these are just for flavor. They're going to help us design our character as we go forward. All right, now you'll notice that each table has a little reference to a type of dice. Now when we see that and it says D10, that means a 10-sided dice. D12 means a 12-sided dice. D8 means an 8-sided dice. Now we're going to have to get something for us to use instead of having actual dice. So we're going to go over here and we are going to type in D&D dice roller. All right, and we're going to open up this dice roller here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that a little smaller like that. I'm going to do this, and now I can have both of those things on the screen at the same time. Now, the way this dice roller works is we have the different types of dice here. It even shows us what they would look like if we had them in real life. Okay, now we are going to be rolling a D10 to get our race. Now, our races in D&D give us different abilities. All right. Now, what I've got here is just a quick description about them. What you might want to do as you go through and you're rolling your dice and you're deciding what you want to use, okay, is you might want to type those words into Google and see what you can find. Okay, so let's see how we go. We'll go down here to our D10 and we'll roll, and I got a 9, which is a halfling. The diminutive halflings survive in a world full of larger creatures by avoiding notice or barring that, avoiding offense. Now, I've also put in here little hints as to what class you might use. You're probably a bard or a rogue or even a monk, sorcerer or warlock. All right, so if we go here and type in halfling and look at images, halflings are little folk. If you've seen The Hobbit or know what Lord of the Rings is, they're the halflings are the same as the small people in that film and book. Okay, there's a cool looking halfling. All right, so have a bit of a play. If you don't like the one you get, just roll it again. You click there and roll again. Oh, I got another 9. Roll again. I got a 10, which is a human. Humans are the most adaptable and ambitious people among the common races. Whatever drives them, humans are inventors, the achievers and the pioneers of this world. You are equally good with all classes. Humans are really versatile, okay? So they can do all sorts of different stuff. Let's try another roll. A 4, a gnome. A gnome's energy and enthusiasm for living shines through every inch of his or her tiny body. You are probably a wizard. Now, it's up to you what class you pick, okay? But, you know, I've picked a few examples here that might help you decide what you want to do. All right, I'm going to do gnome D&D. All right, gnomes are even smaller than halflings. All right, so I'm gonna stick with the gnome. Okay, I'm gonna write down on my little bit of paper next to me, gnome. All right, then I'm going to come down to class. Now, classes are like the role that you play within the game. All right, so depending on what class you pick, you have different abilities. All right, and different attributes that make that character interesting. All right, so this one here is a D12. So I'm going to roll a D12 over here. First one I get is a barbarian. Lightly armored, you are hard to kill and do a lot of damage when raging. Your highest stat should be strength and constitution. So, what this is about when we get into D&D Beyond and start creating the character, okay? Because we're going to look at the different stats that we need to play our character. Now, have a play. Roll your dice a few times. I think you can click on this one too. Yeah, you can. All right, a 3, a cleric. You're pretty good in a fight, and your prayers are some of the most powerful spells in the game. Your highest stat should be strength and wisdom. A cleric is like a religious warrior, okay? Think of a priest that has heavy armor and a shield and a huge mace. So have a bit of a play. I've highlighted bits that are interesting about each class and write down the one you get. So I've got currently a gnome cleric, which doesn't really fit very well if we're looking at stats, but that's fine. If you want to pick one based off of what you see, that's perfectly fine, all right, as well. The idea with dice rolling is to give us a bit of an idea. All right. Now, backgrounds. Backgrounds are designed to help us understand our character's backstory, all right? D&D is all about storytelling. So we want to have a bit of an idea of what our character was doing before they came into the game you're about to play. All right. For this one, we need a D8. I'm going to roll a D8. And I got 8. Oh, re-roll. I've put in here re-roll because in the basic rules for D&D, we only have 7 we can pick from. So let's roll again. 5, a noble. You understand wealth, power, and privilege. You carry a noble title, and your family owns land, collects taxes, and wields significant political influence. You might be a pampered aristocrat, unfamiliar with work or discomfort, a former merchant, just elevated to the nobility, or a disinherited scoundrel with a disproportionate sense of entitlement. Or you could be an honest, hard-working landowner who cares deeply about the people who live and work on your land, keenly aware of the responsibility to them. Okay, so we're starting to get some ideas about who our character is, all right? So what you should do is pick the ones that you would like, or roll for it and go with a completely random character. Now, in this thin little column here, I've got some stuff that we call flavor. All right, this is to help get our imagination working, all right, and trying to come up with who our character is. You, in the back of your mind, might already have that in your mind what your character is going to be, and that's fine. But for this, we are just going to roll and see what we come up with. So, for age, a D8. 6, aging, all right? So if I'm aging, I'm above middle age, probably like maybe 60 or older, okay? So my character's pretty old. I'm going to roll that one again for lifestyle. D8. I got 6 again. Wealthy. Well, it makes sense. I'm a noble who has money. Height. I'm going to roll a D6. Short. Makes sense. I am a gnome. And then build. So when I talk about build, that's about what sort of body type do they have. Okay. So we've got a whole different range there. We'll roll our D8. A 3. Lanky and gangly. So I'm short, but I'm lanky. So I've got long limbs. Eye color. Let's roll another D6. I'm going to roll that one again because I don't want to have 4 again. Otherworldly. Now, what I mean by otherworldly is you might have complete black eyes or complete red eyes, or you might have eyes that look like swirling stars in the cosmos. That's completely up to you, all right? Remember, this is all about just getting our imagination going. Hair color. Let's do a D8 for hair color. A 1. Black hair. Excellent. All right, so now I've built a bit of an idea of who my character is. The whole idea with this little activity is to start getting your imagination going. Okay, so it's okay if what you roll you don't like. You can re-roll, or you can just pick after you've had a look at some of the races, classes, and backgrounds. All right, it's completely up to you what sort of character you create. All right, when we go forward and we start talking about getting into a game with other people, the dungeon master, the person running the game, might have a few different rules that they want to talk to you about, but really, your character is who you want it to be. So this little tool here is just to give you some ideas, to get your imagination going. Don't worry about getting it right, because you can't really get this right or wrong at the moment, okay? So by now, you should have a list of your character's race, class, background, and some things that help describe what they look like, all right? Now, from this point, if you want to go off and do a little bit of writing, or you want to try and draw your character, that's great. If you can't draw, just jump onto Google and have a search for some of the things that you've found. So you might be a elf bard. If you just search for elf bard and go to images, you'll see all sorts of stuff that can give you some ideas about what your character might look like. All right? Excellent. So have a bit of a play with that. In the next episode, we're going to get onto D&D Beyond, and we're going to learn a little bit about how that works. All right. Thank you for listening.